I don't care. Let's start. We're here. We're talking. Why not? Hello, kids. Here with RDV. We're having a nice conversation backstage. Figure what the hell? Let's talk about stuff while we're on camera, kind of like you do when you're YouTubing. We've got a couple of topics we're going to talk about tonight. We got to talk about the creator of Black Lightning going off on Eric July. He is such a freaking, not Eric July, but Tony Isabella is a huge freaking bigot. Absolutely. It's kind of disgusting. He's one of those, like when I read that Mark Wade thing about Mark Wade's going to be the protector of black people. And Tony Isabella is I'm on the right side of history because I know all of these people. And it boils down to, if you're not thinking like him, you're not black. It's really ridiculous. Also, there are some books that are coming out. I want to talk about the JSA solo books. And we can talk about whatever the hell you want to along the way.
Well, I only get one word.
What's that?
Shush.
Josh?
Shush.
Oh, okay. We'll start with that piece of. Okay, look, it's by your boy, right? Joshua Williams.
Joshua Williamson is an interesting character. It's we don't know how she's connected to Thomas Elliot, but it's supposed to be with this person's going after Damian Wayne. I joked online saying it's a boy who was turned down by him because he's straight. You got him over there. I'm the heterosexual. So the person got a sex change and all that stuff, and now wants I'm a girl now. He's like, nope. It is just weird. Now it's Joshua Williamson, so it's not we're getting Tom Taylor or Tom King right in this character, introducing a character. It is dumb because, as Ash said, it's a legacy character.
Well,
or is it just I don't know if I can call it a legacy character. It's people are so deranged that they idolize other people. They want to be like them.
Well, to me, it's your boy being lazy.
That too.
It's Hush, but she's a girl, so it's shh, ush.
Yeah.
It's I just went into slow-mo.
Yeah.
Here we go. Are we back? Hello, Dave Asano was saying Tony is a bigot. Yeah. It kind of makes me sad on this point because it really isn't a new character at all. I feel the same way with a lot of these characters that it's a girl. It's Hush, shush. I think that's it. I think it's kind of like you'll see some of these Saturday Night Live skits where they came up with one joke and then they just repeat it, and it's a boring and crappy skit.
So this isn't the first time we had gender flip characters. Recently, actually, does over at Marvel, we have Shatterstorm, who idolized Shatterstar as a kid, took up identity to honor him. She's from that world, Mojo World, whatever it's called. It's called Mojoverse. I don't know. There's so many verses now. Anyway, so it all depends. Josh Williamson, I have faith in him. It's not going to be an atrocious character. Although, had it been something else, I kept thinking, what's the worst thing they could do with this character for Shush? They could, it could be the daughter or son or whatever of Thomas Elliot if they really want to go far hardcore left woke.
Yeah,
but it's Joshua Williamson. He hasn't done anything bad to us. He was awesome at writing a Damian book, Robin.
Yeah, so, I'm going to be flipping around this. By the way, we're not going to go through every title or anything.
Yeah. So until it comes out, I'm going to save my judgment. But do I roll my eyes? Wow, they just added the S, and it's basically a female version of Hush. It is lazy.
Yeah, we'll see. But like you said, it's Joshua Williams. He's a good writer. You know who else is a good writer? Robert Venditti. I sing the praises of Robert Venditti every chance I get. I think he is a great writer, and he is going to be doing Wesley Dodd's Sandman. And I see this cover. It has me so freaking jazzed.
So just to be clear, the guy who gave us probably the best run of Hawkman in the last 20 years is doing Wesley Dodds.
Yep. When I heard that, I'm like, yes, I am.
Did someone peek at my Christmas list?
Okay, but you guys know what's the one freaking name that drives me away from damn near any book? Riley Rosmo.
Yeah.
Art and cover. Riley Rosmo. Now
that cover does not look bad.
That's not a Rosmo cover. That is not Rosmo art. Riley Rosmo's the worst artist that's working today.
So what cover do you have up there? Is that the
I'm thinking it's either Baltimore Rivas or Kieran Grant. Maybe somebody else can tell us, but holy crap. I was like, yes, Venditti on Wesley Dodds. I'm fucking so done. Let's go. And then I see Riley Rosmo on art, and it's
your world was shattered.
Yeah, somebody poked a freaking pin. There's a Golden Age foil cover by Riley Rosmo for $6.99 pass. God, he's freaking horrible. This is right. Well, maybe he can do painted. Holy crap, that's actually good for Rosmo, but god dang. So it goes on to say no one escapes Sandman's dark dreams, not even Wesley Dodds himself. After years of testing and experimenting, Wesley perfected his sleep gas as the optimal weapon to fight crime without causing undue harm. But when his journal detailing all his failed and far more deadly formulas is stolen, the Sandman must hunt down the thief. Okay, you know what? It's Venditti writing. I'll try not to look at the art.
Yeah, Venditti's got another book that just came out. He's co-writing it with Brockton McKinney. It's over at Dark Horse. It's called Savage Squad 6. Check that out. And because you said it's Venditti is great.
Yeah,
Zach and I are torn on that book though.
I mean, I must point this out. He did Hawkman, and it was one of the greatest things ever. He did Sandman, and it will at least be good, sans art. So, is he building a Justice Society, and will we get a Venditti Justice Society at some point?
That would be lovely.
I want that.
Especially if it's not Riley Rosmo art. But speaking of, we have Jay Garrick, The Flash, also coming out by Jeremy Adams and Diego Olortegua. Saying spanning out of the events of Stargirl and Justice Society of America, Jay Garrick is reunited with his long-lost daughter, Judy. After being pulled from the timeline, Judy returns to a world where she and her dad aren't the only ones that ride the lightning. They mean run, not drink. But there you go. And I'm jazzed for these. I really am. As much as I don't like Rosmo's art, I will be picking them up. We have Alan Scott, Green Lantern. Did we have
there?
Yeah, we have Alan Scott, Green Lantern.
Yeah, they didn't show the Jay Garrick. But I gotta say though that Jay Garrick is one of the few that's been working with Jeff Johns. That Jeff Johns actually wants touching his characters. He was working.
Well, here they've got Tim Sheridan and Tormey.
They worked together. Jeremy Adams worked together with Josh Williamson, I believe, also, and Jeff Johns on Flashpoint Beyond. The one just came out last year. So
okay. But yeah, they're coming out with some new JSA books, and I'm jazzed for them. And then I saw this, and I thought, really, guys, Amazon Attacks, wasn't that? We talked about this the other day, how modern day comics are just not imaginative, and they're just taking ideas from the past and rehashing them. Now,
wasn't Amazon's Attack horrible? Also, wasn't the original very, very bad?
Yeah, it wasn't known for being good, to tell you the truth.
Because I remember all the negative reviews Amazon's Attack got. I remember the Top the Fourth Wall episode on it. So
yep. Who's doing Mariko Tamaki? Well, the one time I read Mariko Tamaki on Supergirl, she was good. So I'll give that a shot.
Up and away, right?
No, it was called Being Super. Power Girl has been destroyed.
Yeah.
That was so. I only read the first issue. This is calling for the second.
Can I just get Gary Frank on the interior art, you cheap bastards?
Who?
Gary Frank on one of my interior art instead of just doing the covers.
Yeah,
it's like we're gonna put Alex Ross on the covers, but we're gonna have someone shittier than him on the interiors.
I'm willing to give Shazam book by Mark Waid a try, but there you go. I'm kind of jazzed about. I've had that Tony Isabella as a bigot for a while here, but yeah. I'm kind of jazzed for the Justice Society. I want them back, but there is the whole be careful what you wish for of it,
Well, that's
Can someone please fix Dr. Fate before we do this? Because I want Dr. Fate to be well written, and he can't be well written with the possession icon. It can't be done. I'm sorry.
Right now, Dr. Fate, there's two of them. from the JSA. There's the kid, and then there's him. They've been having the Justice Society of America that's been releasing. So
wait, what the? Oh, okay. How are there two helmets?
time travel.
But
JSA
Naboo
yeah.
But Naboo is a being that exists outside of time. They're basically.
But Naboo is not in the helmet when the kid gets it. It's a different. It's a different.
Okay. On the one hand, that's fine because maybe that means they're leaning away from the possession retcon. Finally, but on the other hand, doing Dr. Fate without Naboo is like doing, or when he's written well, is like doing Firestorm without the coach character.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to move us along a little bit here, and we got to talk about it. Eric showed us the tweets. He led the way, even though he's not here. And we have Black Lightning creator attempts to get Eric July canceled at San Diego Comic-Con.
Screw up. It's John Candy.
I was about to say, this looks like John Candy let himself go.
Harry Crumb.
Yeah, it's not a good John Candy there. I'm going through Bounding Into Comics here because they collected everything.
Yeah.
So I don't have to bounce from one thread to the other on Twitter.
Less work for you. So
exactly. Let me whip this out.
Maranya has issued the obligatory public service announcement.
I'm going to be nice to Tony Isabella. He created Black Lightning, therefore he should get all of the breaks, right? Isn't that what Tony Isabella thinks? Let's get rid of that. Black Lightning creator Tony Isabella attempted to cancel Isom creator Eric July at San Diego Comic-Con after he made an appearance at the CGC booth. Okie dokie. July announced that he would be at the CGC booth at San Diego Comic-Con on July 21st to promote his CGC signature series of Isom. He tweeted, 12 p.m., catch me at CGC. Okay. And so let's see, Twitter user Check the Circuit then attempted to lead the cancellation of July, writing Eric July in his own words, and a pick he loves, embracing Kyle Rittenhouse. This is who CGC Comics chose to honor with a signing at San Diego Comic-Con. He did nothing wrong, you dumbass.
Yeah, news flash for all of y'all. People you don't like are just as legitimate as you, and you're just going to have to deal with it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think they deal with it. And who San Diego Comic-Con honored to have panel and booth disgusting and outright cruel, hurtful, bigot, offensive to the invitees and attendees. You know what? I know they didn't say it here, but it kind of led me there this way I was thinking. A lot of people, I believe I hear this all the time. Words of violence. Please get punched in the face. Get hit by a car. Not because I want you dead or anything like that, but because you need to know what violence is. Because this whole thing, he said words. Shut
the good thing about this, people trying to cancel him, is the fact that these people don't have to show up, and we can get other people in there who are actually more talented than them.
Well, and here's the other irony of it. This is going to be yet another case where the attempt to cancel him will just make him more popular, because it still hasn't dawned on the social justice warriors that they are not well liked. So doing things to spite them is a thing people like to do.
I hope Eric July quote tweets him, says, "This guy's trying to cancel me because I'm black." That's all he has got to say, and he'll make Tony look for it.
In response to this, Isabella tweeted, "Come on, CGC and Comic-Con, you could do better than empowering an unsavory, to put it mildly, person like this." He then added, Jack Kirby would have punched him out. For context, it's likely Isabella is insinuating that July is a Nazi, giving Kirby detailed in an interview and published in 1990 he would beat the stuffing out of anyone who liked Hitler.
You guys do know he's black, right? Eric July.
Let's even get rid of that, because that lends some kind of credence if he was white. No, the one huge problem with dumbasses like Tony Isabella, and by the way, Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, stop asking me if I want to put forth a tweet where I call someone a dumbass. I choose my words carefully, and I call people a dumbass whom are in fact dumbasses. So yeah, please.
I got a time on Twitter the other day because I said you should tase that bitch.
Well, that's a call for violence. I get it.
I was like, it's just the videos about violence.
But here's the thing: these days, Nazi is it's like the racist thing. Racist is anyone who disagrees with a Democrat. Now Nazi is. It's just been given that same soft freaking explanation for everything. Tony Isabella's a dumbass. He's calling anybody who disagrees with him, in this case, a black guy, of being a Nazi. What the freaking hell is he thinking? How stupid? How far down the Twitter well do you have to fall to be doing this kind of thing?
And in the vein of not lending them any credence here, let's just nip this in the bud right now. The problem with Nazis is not what they say; it is with what they do. I.e., a Nazi has every right to say, gas the Untermenschen and so forth.
So
the problem is if they actually go ahead and try to do it. But as long as they're only saying things, there is no problem. There is no immorality here to be had.
If he starts slandering him, I hope he gets sued. I hope Eric July takes that money and sues the heck out of him.
So Eric July goes along and says, asks him if he wants to discuss things. And Isabella responds, not in the least. Your denial of the existence and validity of trans kids alone is enough to tell me I don't need to communicate with you further. And that's a bullshit way out. I've heard that so many times. Well, I don't think you would argue in good faith. I don't think so. You're just
presupposing bad faith is itself bad faith.
Yeah, you're going to stand off on the sidelines and call me names and shit. You know what? I don't know why this popped in my head. I think it does have relevance, but it reminds me, of course, and I'm sure I'm not the only conservative who's experienced this. Ignorant leftist says something horrible at work about conservatives. Conservative begins to speak up and everybody goes, oh, come on, don't start a fight.
It's not even just conservatives. I've gotten it, and I'm a Bernie bro social democrat.
Yeah, but the thing is you should have told the person who said the first horrible thing. That's the point of it.
I'd be like, Tony, you basically indirectly said that I love Hitler. I want you to show me physical proof where I said I am a Nazi. I support Hitler.
And him providing that soundbite doesn't count, by the way, because quote mines are good. Venkman, what have you done? You just gave them a quote mine and a silver platter, man.
And if they don't, like I said, literally, Eric July has enough money; he can sue anybody for slander if he wants to. And we've seen this with other people who are slandered by the news media. CNN's been sued twice, at least 3 times that I know of, and they lost.
And that goes back to my point that I made earlier of these people, the ultimate mistake they make is they think they have the moral high ground. They think they have the legitimacy, when in actuality, they are the least legitimate voices in the room. Yeah. So if they go after someone, they automatically make them look better because people don't like.
Well, this guy's been a
dear journo, people don't like you, is the upshot.
You know how Christopher Priest didn't want to be the black writer?
Yeah.
Tony Isabella announces his ass like he's the black writer.
He wants the throne of black writerdom, yeah.
He created Black Lightning. God damn it. That gives him an in to everything. As a matter of fact, I think he might believe it gives him an inward pass. And by God, I hope he uses it when he's in Harlem.
Yeah, sweetheart. Black Lightning is basically just a rip-off Static Shock, and we all know it. So sit down.
It happened.
It's the opposite because Static Shock was afterwards.
Yeah, that's not the way it happened.
Static Shock was actually better.
Static is better Black Lightning.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. Static Shock was the better Black Lightning.
Look, I'm not gonna say the character's bad, and I even liked his run. Tony Isabella has written some good things. I could take that away from him.
He created Tigra.
Douche. Marania is saying Eric July has to retweet the idiot and just say that the guy is trying to cancel a successful black man. He could use the race card too. Tony knows he's black, and that's why his racist ass hates him. Tony is a bonehead. Tony is a bigot. I like it's basically writes itself, doesn't it? Democrats hating blacks or black guys who don't follow in the narrative. Just another day that ends in Y, says Rhaegar.
Well, what is the modern day internalized racism argument other than you're not one of the good ones?
There you go.
It's literally what it amounts to.
Ash is saying, well, it is immoral to say people should be exterminated, but it needs to be allowed because free speech. And hold on, Twids, fly away.
No, I disagree with you, Ash. The words are not immoral. Someone taking those words and choosing to act on them is exactly the moment it becomes immoral. Words are never immoral. Actions are.
I don't know. I kind of disagree with you on that.
Words are created by people.
But I also get your point. But I think I lean more towards Ash's camp on this one. Let's move forward here.
Ash's camp? Oh, that's ironic.
Okay, so July replied, so instead you want to snipe and go after our partners and vendors. I'm against mutilation of children. Minors are unable to consent, and it is evil to do such irreversible damage to them. What about that do you find so repugnant, says Eric July. And that's
objectively correct.
That
you
is,
shouldn't be transitioning people who haven't gone through puberty yet. And
now, we've learned that that's actually physically dangerous, but also that they're not done. You have no concept of life. I mean, and by that I mean the length of life when you're that young. That's why summers seem so long. You're not used to it. When you get to your 40s and you're actually around your 30s and you start to feel the days are shorter, the years are shorter because you've now had 35 of them. You know, you've now had 50 of them. It's already freaking August almost, guys. What the hell happened? The year just started. That's the way you feel more and more as time goes by. Kids don't know this. Kids don't understand what they're saying when they say this. And now it's a fad on freaking social media.
Ash, sweetheart, I've never called your words immoral. I've just called them stupid. Something can be stupid without...
Hold on. No, we're not doing this. You guys start your own DM.
Yeah, we're not doing
We're not doing an Ash Dalton fight. It's not going on. Not here. Not today. Start your own DM. You guys could go at each other for the hours upon hours that it would last.
I'm just making fun of him for refusing to differentiate between the category of stupid and immoral. Basically, exactly. That was my only point. Moving on.
All righty. Let's see. If you disagree with the modern white saviors, I mean white neo-libs, you are a white supremacist. So that's ethereal talking to Rhaegar. The sentiment is immoral as the action, but even the most repulsive person has the right to make the repulsive statements, which I agree with that. That's the free speech part. If words aren't immoral, is it moral to shout fire in a crowded movie? I don't think it's immoral or moral to shout fire. It's just neutral.
Yeah, it's morally neutral.
Irresponsible? Sure. That sounds terrible. I'm glad I'm not old, says Eric Breen. Yeah. Rhaegar saying, the day I got called a Black Russian bot for supporting Trump on Twitter back in 2016, I thought I was about to die of laughter. That's the way it is, man. So I don't know. So Isabella would stop responding in the thread, but he continued to deride July on Twitter, writing this morning's senior moment, commenting on a Comicsgate creep. July was never a part of Comicsgate. He then revealed that he is in favor of butchering small children under the guise of transgender ideology. No decent, rational human being should give a second of their time to discussing anything with people who think medically proven and valid health care for trans kids is mutilation.
You should never transition anyone who has not gone through puberty, because the chemical and evolutionary purpose of puberty, is to increase gender affiliation. That's one of the side effects of puberty. So if you're trying to transition someone who hasn't gone through puberty and therefore doesn't know whether they will or will not grow into their gender, then you are wrong.
Well, yeah, they see it as heading it off at the pass. You know, we know you're going to do it anyway, so why not start now? Because they don't even think about the fact that it's not just the genitals that it stops, and it messes kids up.
Just alone the fact that it's irreversible. Say the kid doesn't identify, but you identify that for him or her, and now you messed them up for the rest of their life.
All right. He goes on to say he then resorted to playing victim, as all those who get called on their heinous actions eventually do. And Isabella says, so now I'm being called a racist. Well, yeah, you are. And it's only a matter of time before Rich Johnson starts riding my ass again. Your relationship with Rich Johnson is your relationship. If you're gay, you're gay. Go on ahead, love it. But what he's really talking about is Rich Johnson will call him out for being a racist, as he did before.
Yep.
When Rich Johnson is the same person in the room, you know you've screwed up somewhere.
Yep. He concluded the thread saying, I fear I will be spending way too much time blocking these creeps. My fault for letting them get to me with their right-wing bullshit. Dude, you are so freaking far to the left. You're on the right again.
Yeah, I'm a Bernie bro, and even I know that puberty is about gender affiliation, so doing anything regarding gender affiliation before puberty is stupid.
Yeah, didn't Isabella block him and then start quote tweeting him, even though he's a
they always do that. They always do the I'm going to say something incredibly inflammatory, but boo on you if you reply.
He blocked him, and then he's kept insulting him. July would later upload a video making it clear what his position on mutilating children in the name of transgender ideology. My position on this whole trans kid thing is very simple. There's no such thing. Is it something that is facilitated by adults, and that's who it's coming from? Children cannot consent. I want to be firm as I possibly can on the subject matter. And to do irreversible, irreparable damage to something like that is evil. Top surgery, bottom surgery. My position on this has been very consistent, and those are objectively bad things. And,
obviously correct.
July stated that what this all boils down to is there are certain comic pros that are a loud minority, especially on social media. Definitely after 2016 and 2015, the whole Donald Trump phenomena. These guys just start coming out of the woodwork, and you found out how much they despise half the freaking voting population and half the hell non-voting population, and they take issue with folks. July goes on saying, after explaining how he believes many of these comic pros are not happy about July's success with Isam, believing they are the ones who own the comic book space, July asserted, Tony Isabella is an idiot. Certainly, I do take exception to him trying to figure out people that I work with, or trying to go after people I work with. That's what these guys love to do. Nothing's going to happen, but that is what it is. And Isabella would respond to the video, writing on Twitter, I've been told a Comicsgate clown I angered has done a YouTube video attacking me. You don't need to post links to it here or send private messages to me. He's been in comic industry for 5 minutes. I've been doing good, honorable work for over 50 years. No, you haven't.
No.
You did good work in the 1970s.
Black Lightning, and then where did he go after that?
Okay, but yeah. He goes on. I remember, this guy, he went on to double down on his position regarding butchering children. I called him on his trans kids comments. Decent folks know trans kids exist. Their healthcare needs are medically and morally valid. No, they're not.
We can't possibly know because they haven't gone through puberty yet, so we don't know whether their dysphoria is going to last after they have puberty or whether it won't.
One of the fastest growing communities online is the detransitioners, the kids who have just absolutely regretted doing this. It's one of the fastest growing communities.
And it's only just beginning. It really is. In 20 years, this is going to be a freaking humanitarian travesty.
These kids were led. These are the first batch, by the way. These are the ones, I don't know if you remember, like there's this girl named Milo said she was transitioning to a guy and all that.
Milo Stewart, you mean?
Yeah, and then there was like Blair White when she was first coming up, and I know I referred to him as she on that. When these are the people who were drawn in then. There are so many more to become because it just grew and it grew and it grew. And you would have these kids, like most kids do, feel awkward. And instead of saying, well, you know what, people go through this all the time. Let's talk. Let's figure this out. They said, well, you know, you're probably in the wrong body. No, you're not. Flat out 100%. You're not in the wrong body. You have the wrong mindset. Your mind is not set right. We used to actually have places you could go that would actually talk to you and you can talk it out and maybe and hopefully fix this. There is nothing self-accepting of changing your name, cutting pieces of your bodies off, dressing in a manner that is not, of course, your gender. There's nothing self-accepting of that. You're changing everything. That's not self-acceptance when you change everything. That is a message I never hear anybody say, but it's absolutely the truth. If you are changing everything about yourself, you are not accepting yourself.
It also reminds me of something that we don't often talk about the satanic panic. Remember when we didn't really understand how memory worked, and and there was a slate of people who were getting implanted memories in the name of memory regression, and it fueled the satanic panic? This is basically the social justice version of that. It's let me use my vaguely, misunderstood medical knowledge to warp this child in the name of making them a morally pure person.
Well, he goes on to say the benefits of their receiving gender care are confirmed by our history. They should not be denied this care. No, it hasn't been happening long enough at this scale for us to have a history with it. These detransition, this largest growing freaking community, or one of them anyway, this is what we're finding out. This is what we're discovering here. He goes on to say, I've been on the right side of history since I started working in comics. I'm still on the right side of history. You never know. You can't say now I am. And you can't even say that you're on the right side of history anytime, really. But you can't definitely now say in the present that you
history is not a set thing with one singular direction.
And you can't say that you're modern times is not something you can say you're on the right side of history during. He goes on to say, I'm ignoring, blocking him just as I'm doing with all of his fellow deplorable Comicsgate creeps as they make themselves known. Isabella continued, I'm not scared of them. I'm disgusted by them because you've never fucking talked to anybody, you fucking idiot. This guy pisses me off.
Well, yeah, you're disgusted by your own straw man of them because you presuppose bad faith. You presuppose that they're immoral and therefore they're not legitimate enough to talk to. That's the rationale.
He concluded, I'll continue to do good and honorable work. I'll continue to be the best ally I can. I freaking hate that word, ally now. All it means is you're going to believe anything fucking Twitter says. You're not an ally if you just say yes to fucking everything. It's so ignorant. I mean,
you're also not an ally if you take away people within an identity group's identity card because they disagree with you in the abstract, or they disagree with someone else in the abstract.
Because it's the decent thing to do, because it's the right thing to do, thanks to all of who backed me in these noble pursuits. What a fucking dumbass.
So the 10 people, thank you for clicking like on his tweets.
Considering who he is, there you go. Despite Isabella claiming he has the moral ground, he does not. In fact, he is promoting extremely immoral behavior. And then it goes on. But I'll tell you what, man, he is a douchebag. He's a douchebag.
Who was a bigger jig-off in 2023? Conway or Isabella?
Conway. Isabella's just randomly going off. Conway he destroyed a freaking icon.
Dan Slott.
He undermined himself.
Yeah. Let's see. Tony, Isabella upset with that. Let's see. Just wait until they make us all Yahtzees in a video game or comic. Cartoons saying the only thing we can guarantee is the current comic books industry is scared of Eric July. They are literally calling him a Nazi, and that's hilarious. We can make a better industry.
the black Nazi, apparently.
Look, he's won in a crowd. He's actually so far. I mean, it's been what 3-4 months since the first issue, or maybe I'm a little bit off. Point being is, it seems like number 2 followed number 1 pretty quickly. If he keeps up this, basically what I'm getting at is if he continues keeping up the Iconic Comics pacing, he's going to be one of the superstars. I mean, it's not going to be a flash in the pan kind of thing, you know. If he keeps up the quality and he keeps up the timing and everything, he's only going to get bigger, and that's awesome. So Iconic Comics, and people who also keep their books churning. They're showing that this is a new industry.
It really comes down. I just think most of these creators that are calling him like Tony Isabella, they're jealous because these people can work outside of the system and actually write what they want to write and make money off it. They have the talents.
It also flies in the face of the one thing that they love more than anything, which is orthodoxy, legitimacy, value in the abstract. The idea that they can be the establishment voice and be hated by the public drives them nuts. And it especially drives them nuts when the people they vilify and hate and call the worst things imaginable are considered more legitimate by the public than they are. It drives them nuts.
Eric July definitely epitomizes the old saying, "The dogs bark, but the caravan rolls on," says Murad. Let's see. Rhaegar saying they are being disingenuous by refraining or reframing the argument to, you disagree with this lifestyle, so that must mean you want them dead. Yeah, I remember there's a genocide going on. Nobody's dying. The only person I heard that died was the guy that took the puberty blockers and didn't have enough skin, so they had to go in through his stomach to give him a fake penis or something, give her a fake penis, something like that. When they say things like trans kids exist and you're trying to erase trans people, not only is it indicative of a cult, they are trying to reframe the narrative. It's there you go. But getting past that, one thing I want to point out is we all know comics is a dying medium. We know they're all doing bad, and honestly, I don't think they will ever actually even think about the fact that it could be how they're treating everybody outside of their little sewing circle that's doing this. Eric July.
No, because they consider themselves valid by default and everyone else invalid by default.
Look, I know Richard is not 100% innocent, because he would tweet something out to somebody, and when they were mad and they tweeted back to him, he would go, "Aha! See what they're saying?"
He didn't know how to play the optics game at all.
But well, no, not a lot of people caught on to that. But Ethan Van Sciver, I know he's not the bestest guy in the world either. No love lost here, but they went after him too. He made his, he stepped away from DC Comics. We had the big fight. We had the big arguments. As I said, what's his name? Wrote Batman and Snyder guy.
Scott Snyder? Yeah,
he was like, you're a bad person for associate. Everybody who associates him with is a bad person. Yeah, they went after him too, and now it's Eric July. This is the song that never ends. Yes, it goes on and on, my friends. I mean, it's the same freaking thing.
Ash, stop baiting me when you know Anglin doesn't want me to respond to you.
It is absolutely.
Don't expire him. You just did. Ignore it.
It's absolutely the same thing that we were talking about, and Eric is the next victim. That's it. And they're going to watch the whole comic book industry go off a freaking cliff because they can't say they were wrong. You guys were right. I'm trying to find a CBR article that was basically talking about we're right, that Comicsgate was right. They didn't say it, But CBR is such a content farm. If you don't save it the first day, you're never seeing it again because they just put out so many freaking articles every day that in one day you'll have like 40 or 50. And I'm not, But I wanted to look at it. I wanted to talk about it because what I read of it, it really was, hey guys, here's some reasons why. Maybe that's it. Hold on. Reading modern comics is problematic.
Well, while we're paused, I will say one thing.
Say it.
No, Ash, you're not being immoral. You're being an idiot, which is exactly the point I was trying to make earlier. You refuse to differentiate between things that are stupid and things that are immoral.
He's baiting you, and you're goading you to responding, and you're buying right into it.
Because he knows I have an obvious answer, because he can't be that stupid. But he also knows, England, he doesn't want me to respond.
I don't. I want you guys to take it outside.
Exactly. This isn't the Dalton versus Ash stream.
Yeah, it's because what ends up happening is Ash needs to be right. You need to be right. You guys go at each other like a freaking bulldog. I've seen it happen in the chat many times, and I don't want to do that. I don't want that to be done live.
Okay, well here, what?
Okay, Dalton's mad, so he's gonna pop off. All right, that wasn't the desired outcome, but there you go. But you know what? In all honesty, Dalton's just removing himself from the equation. There you go. See that? That's bait, says Mad Max. Let's see, but actually, neither of you are right because I'm right, says Rhaegar. I guess that's the whole thing.
I'm right.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't want any of that to derail any of the stuff we were talking about.
That's why I ignore Rhaegar. Rhaegar just makes all these jokes, and I don't want to argue with him about the jokes.
And most of them are about you, and that's
exactly
that's awesome.
I don't understand it. Yeah. It's like you have the old man right here. Just because Eric Breeze it doesn't mean there's not an old man right there you can make fun of.
Let's see. I really was
kids comics.
Hey, kids comics. Harsh realities of buying modern books. I think this. I don't know if this was it, but it looked like such an interesting article because they were flat out saying some of the stuff that we were saying, and this is another one of those news sites that were calling us all the ists and phobes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I've got two here. This one is the harsh realities of buying modern comics. All right, we'll try to go through this a little quicker than we did the last one, but let's see what they got. Number 10 is a push for digital comics. I don't see why is that bad. I mean, I know a lot of people like to hold physical, but
only when your app works on the actual websites, other than just the app.
Sure. Yeah, I guess
it works somewhat okay with Chrome, but it's really glitchy in Chrome still.
Let's see. For starters, fans prefer being able to hold a physical copy. Yeah, that's true. What's more, digital comics can be lost forever. That's true also. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if we're just talking about the Marvel digital app itself, you got rid of Shang-Chi. You can't read that. I can't read certain issues of Web of Spider-Man because for whatever reason, it might be too violent or whatever, or copyright reasons.
Yeah, they can.
And then you want me to pay more to read other comics in your library. Something in the full library, I have to go up to $110. Same thing with DC. You wonder why people pirate. Why would they pay for something they can access or something else that you want to offer?
I don't wonder at all.
$110 just to get to some books.
Okay, let's move on. Let's see. Number 9, good digital comic platforms are rare. Oh my gosh, they got rid of Comixology, or they got rid of they got rid of the reading bit, like where you could close up on it like you do in Marvel or DC, where you can do the panel to panel. It's horrible now. The DCU, that's the best one. If you like DC Comics, get that DC Universe. Yeah. That's the best of them. Marvel, the problem with Marvel is it'll be like, oh, I want to read this issue. Okay, well, pay us $5. Or it'll be, this one isn't available to you anymore.
Also, I noticed in DC, there's no warning. Say this is the books and this is might be racist or something.
I hate that.
That's Marvel.
Yeah.
Marvel does that.
Marvel and DC both have their own apps for users to download, which gives them access to their whole not their whole catalog. No, it doesn't. It's not the whole catalog.
DC is really good as far as their catalog for most of the stuff.
What's up? What's up? You there?
Yeah. Comixology does have a panel view on certain books, not all books.
Yeah, I've got the entire run of Daredevil on Comixology, and it doesn't do. Graphic novels are slow to release. Really? Are they? I thought it was like once the storyline was over.
If you're doing 6 issues once a month, then by the time you get the graphic novel, it's like 7 months later. So if you're waiting for it, it does take a while for the graphic novel to come out.
Well, they gotta wait for the story to be over.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they think that because they saw Flash was coming out twice a week, or twice a month. Maybe they think all comic books come out that.
Many readers prefer buying their comics in bulk, essentially, rather than waiting for each single release to come out. Fans wait a little longer and get a graphic novel that collects all the issues in one place. It's a great way to view the narrative. However, the trend isn't as big as it once was, and publishing companies are not prioritizing graphic novels, partially to focus on the ever-moving schedule of the monthly title and partially to once again push readers to digital alternatives. Comic book companies are taking a long time to publish graphic novel collections. Some popular runs aren't even getting printed in this format anymore. If this continues, the traditional shape of the industry is going to change massively. One problem is if it wasn't a popular book, they don't put out too many trade paperbacks, and the trade paperbacks end up being expensive. Hence, like Hawkman, the Venditti run, there are three volumes, I think, and the third volume is very expensive. Back in the day, writers were nuanced enough to present both sides of a political issue without telling you, the reader, what to think. These days, the writers sledgehammer their side into making to make you think, is what she's saying. Number 7.
Right, I was going to say the title, Marvel DC dominate the industry. In a time they did. Now there's a lot of good books outside the big two, because half the books coming out from Marvel DC suck, if not more Marvel.
For financially, they still dominate. As far as quality,
IP farms, they have yes, but as far as quality comic books today, no.
Although comic book stores are trying to push readers towards alternative companies, it's fair to say that the industry isn't in the place that it once was. Excuse me. Dark Horse Image and Boom Studios, for example, were major competitors during some periods. There's still hope that the industry will evolve again as more people discover smaller creators, and perhaps digital platforms like Webtoon will make a genuine difference. For now, unfortunately, DC and Marvel are still the top dogs, despite the healthiness of diversification. And by that, I assume they mean of titles. Number 6, the screen has a massive impact. Oh, my Lord in heaven, yes. I agree with this one.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous place for the industry to be in, as it's influencing smaller companies as well. From The Boys to Invincible and Kick-Ass, there are so many more adaptations in the works. Comic book companies will be changing publishing schedules and could perhaps even reboot a series just to line up with what's happening on the screen. You mean like Captain Marvel? That actually made it to 50 issues? Yep.
Speaking of stuff going on to the screen, we have, this fall, we got Invincible coming out. They just did a one-shot for episode for Adam Eve. And then there's an Adam Eve video game coming out. So it's like Skybound through Image is actually starting to pick up, get more noticeable, especially with The Boys. You can tell that there's actually more little companies that they consider small, are starting to get picked up. Dynamite is trying. Apparently, it's a Red Sonja movie. They filmed it, never was released. I don't know if it's not released because of the SAG, because of the strike, maybe that's why. But as far as I knew, it was done filming last year. So,
okay.
Don't know.
I haven't watched that yet, and I haven't watched the Justice League. I watched the beginning where Wonder Woman's cowgirl, and Jonah Hex apparently is a bad guy.
Yes, and then the second one is Warlord, the DC imprint.
Okay, so it's an anthology. I'll watch them, but
and Bruce Lane's in there. And I the cowboy one was it was all right, but it just felt really weird because it shows the top, it shows all three of them, and then it shows the bottom of them going against War World. Or I'm thinking like, where's Mongol? Why?
That's when I heard War World. That's what I thought it was going to be. War World.
To me, I just said it's false advertising. Because what reminds me of the Wonder Woman and the other story? It reminds me of the ones you put on the DV, like the House of Mystery, the random stories.
That was a good collection, by the way.
That was.
Yeah, that was really good. Okay, let's continue this, and we'll get through this, and we'll talk more about that. That's okay. So, did I already read this? Yeah, I already read this. Yeah, we already know that the movies influence the comics way too much. Comics heyday is over. Well, we've been announcing that for a while, right? Yeah. Perhaps there will come a time when comics are more popular again, fueled by long-term cinematic saturation. With the industry shrinking in areas, there are fewer opportunities for indie publishers to fill in those gaps. Ultimately, there has to be some kind of growth again for competition to arise and for more comic companies to get their much-needed place in the spotlight. Fewer eyes on the product results in less interesting content. That doesn't have to be so.
I want to point out. He says when the person says when comics will become more popular again. Jeremy Adams was at the Comic-Con. He said they got rid of that H Hall, whatever, without the new movie stuff coming out. It's been the packed as he's ever seen it at a San Diego Comic-Con. Yeah, people were actually going up to the comic book creators and actually wanting to talk to them, or buying comic books there. It is much more. I said that is what comic should be, not the movie stuff.
I walk around Artist Alley and I just like to say hey and just talk a little bit about the comics and such. And the in general, the comic book artists and writers want to talk as well, and it's kind of fun. Only Neil Adams was ever like, "You gonna buy something? You gonna buy something?" He was the only one that kind of even Jim Shooter, by the way, willing to talk about anything.
I wonder how many more people were able to buy tickets to San Diego Comic-Con because no one was going because there's no movie stuff.
I wonder if they lower. Well, I don't think they lowered their prices because this came up fast, but I wonder if they will next year if it's the same thing, because one of the reasons prices have been escalating is every Comic-Con thinks they need to invite the biggest names in Hollywood and so forth and so on. So I don't know, maybe
it's just crazy when you go to Comic-Con, it's actually about comics.
And by the way, Rhaegar is asking, did anybody see the Doom that came to Gotham? I liked it. I thought it was really good. And is asking, is that Tony the Tiger? It's Tawny. Tawny.
I thought it was Tawny.
Tawny. Yeah, Tawney. All right, next up, it was certain titles overload the comics, but then he's got Batman. Characters like Batman and Spider-Man, for example, always have multiple titles running at the same time because those characters sell. The harsh reality is that other books get moved aside just to publish more of the same. At a certain stage, readers will experience significant fatigue for individual characters. Well, here's the problem. The readers are causing it. We're causing it. If you skip over Green Lantern, if you skip over the Flash or Blue Beetle or any of the Creature Commandos, you're not going to get Creature Commandos. You're not going to get Blue Beetle. You're not going to get the Flash. On the Marvel's end, you're going to continue to get 18 different Spider-Man books, and they're going to try to push something different, and it's just not going to work. But then again, on Marvel, they're more likely to go, hey, we want to do this Ms. Marvel book, and she's going to be perfect. But
I look at Marvel stuff, and right now it is not. It's not really Spider-Man, but it's Spider-Verse heavy. Spider-Man's only in one book. Spider-Man. The other ones are all the Spider-Verse stuff. That's what Marvel's doing. So you're talking about Thor, Captain America, Daredevil. That's it. There's no other characters. There's no Hawkeye. There's no his own solo series. Power Man doesn't have his own series. There's no Power Man and Iron Fist. The Iron Fist book got canceled a long time ago. I don't think it's even going. Where DC, a lot of the stuff it's Batman or it's we got World's Finest, we got Teen Titans, we got now it's Batman Brave and the Bold. It was Urban Legends, but now it's Brave and the Bold. That's the new Urban Legends. I don't care what he says. It's the same damn thing. Two
by the way,
books. Yeah.
To answer MK, yes, I have heard that there's a Crisis on Infinite Earths. I haven't read anything about it. I hope they follow. I hope they just put it out and trust people to be able to follow that story. But I didn't know all the characters when that story came out. I still thought it was awesome.
I feel like DC's
Zach. Yeah. Oh, go on ahead.
Tiny Scouts. Yeah.
Okay, since you just read that off, allow me to turn a little Will Smith and say, keep Taki Tani's name out of your mother in mouth. Okay, that's just wrong, dude. That's just wrong, man.
It's man. As far as the Batman books, we have complaints. Oh, DC's all Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I would say in this past month or two, it's hardly Batman. There's more books than there are Batman books.
Yeah, I've been enjoying what I've read.
We have Green Lantern. We have a Green Arrow. We have the Flash.
And they're good.
We have World's Finest.
And they're good.
Yeah. Catwoman. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot more diverse now than it was before. Before it was just past few years, it's been just Batman books, Batman Fortress, Batman this. Now they're actually putting other books out. So I think they realize that, crap, people want these other books that we haven't been putting out because people keep asking, "Where's my Green Arrow? Where's my Flash?" You know, Flash was so popular that they had to have 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, there's a book coming out. And guess what they did? They said, "Oh my gosh, this is too much work." So they decided to kick the number 1 guy off there. But they put him on Lantern. So we'll see if Green Lantern works out well. We got 2 stories. We got a John Stewart backup story, and we have the main story with Hal Jordan. Right now, there's no Green Lantern Corps books out. You notice that? I'm just waiting for that to come. Because remember, that was Green Lantern Corps. There was a whole bunch of those. New 52. Even before that, there was a bunch of those in the pre-52.
Yeah.
So,
all right, let's go to number 3 here. No room for risks. Saying with a shrinking audience, a smaller market, and 2 companies dominating space, there isn't much room for risk taking. Comic book companies have to keep a hold of their audience by giving them exactly what they love. For Marvel and DC, that means more big events and a continuous focus on the same roster of characters. Genuinely ambitious storytelling that changes the status quo isn't going to be as attractive to publishers looking to meet their financial targets. If a concept doesn't land with an audience, it could mean game over for a studio. Luckily, some smaller companies and creator-owned titles are still able to take the risks. You know, that reminds me of when Image first came out, and they were talking about, oh, they want to do this and they want to own, and it's going to be... I was a little disappointed to find out everybody was just doing a superhero title. There's a lot of good independent books that come and absolutely go. Once they're done, I mean, Stray Dogs was a freaking phenomenon, and then it wasn't. And that's the sad way of being an independent comic book.
What was the other one? We Live?
Oh, We Live. Yeah, that was huge for a while and then disappeared. Of course, you had it got optioned. Every freaking comic book, by the way, gets optioned. Berserker. And all the speculators went, no, you got to buy it. It's worth $1 gajillion.
Berserker was so great, it was so popular that they brought back a one-shot this week. I don't know where or how it's going to fit into the rest story because we have the ending. It's going to be interesting. So,
okay.
But yeah, unfortunately, a lot of these companies still make the same mistakes over and over again. But we're going with Night Terrors, which is basically Future State 2.0 to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna read those at some point. All right, number 2 is not enough diversity. One of the harsh realities of buying comics throughout most of the eras of the industry is that there is a genuine lack of diversity in the material. Companies are beginning to move forward now with plans to ensure that the comics actually reflect their readership. So are you talking about the material or the readership? What's perhaps the more stark for the consumer, though, is that there is even less diversity within the talent actually creating the comics. You're talking about race. New initiatives need to be put in place to help out ambitious comic book creators who haven't had the opportunity they deserve. That will lead to, we get it. You think black people are weak. You think Hispanics are weak.
Wait,
anybody who's not white is weak. We get it.
Are they saying that?
Are you well, go on ahead.
Are they saying there's not enough black or Hispanic writers?
I guess so.
Are they saying there's
They're
too
all
many
Asian.
white
What can you
gay? There's too many gay white writers.
I guess so. What you gonna do? All right, but my thinking is they're making it sound like the comic books of the past weren't good because of that.
They didn't write them. Most people write this stuff do not read original comics. They read one and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is too much patriarchy for me."
Comics need to be more bigoted. Yes, I agree. If comics reflected the readership, 80% of the comic characters would be male and white. And number one is there are fewer comic book stores.
There's tons.
They are the lifeblood of the industry, but changing times have led to many closures. Oh, hey.
I know, it's rare.
What? Hey, Miss Breen, how you doing?
I just want to make sure I was watching the right thing. Not enough diversity?
Not enough diversity.
Yeah,
they need more.
Are there not enough Hawk Girl books coming out now to satisfy this writer?
Just started reading it. I'm legitimately trying to read some books I could do a review on, and Hot Girl was the first one I picked up.
Yeah, not enough diversity. They kill Marvel kills off Kamala Khan just for clickbait.
Something called Fish Flies by Jeff Lemire and something called Captain Marvel Dark Tempest are the books I'm going to be reading and reviewing.
I'm going to give you a Jeopardy question, E.
Okay.
It's regarding Hawk Girl 1. You can look throughout the book and you will find Waldo before you find one of these.
A straight person?
Yes, sir. Straight girl.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it's look, like I said, you can't take away the fact that we have heard Nichelle Nichols' story. So representation matters. But as I've said before, if it's not done right, it's just presentation. And what's worse is calling it out, saying, "Hey, look, I like Hawk Girl, sure. Now write a story that's anything other than her being gay."
Okay. I was watching. Wes does these things with Doc every week, and he made Doc, poor guy, read Hawk Girl, and they did a video.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of it, you direct people to other videos. It was one that I'd made with him about Batgirl 50. And when we were recording the video, I pretended to get a phone call, and Wes is like, "Okay." It's like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?" And I go, "That was Lois Lane #1. It said Batgirl 50 sucks." Where am I going with that? Your phone is going to ring while you're reading Hawk Girl, and it's going to be Batgirl 50. You've been warned.
It's going to be like, you miss me? You miss me now, don't you?
like me now.
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't good. Batgirl 50, by the way, was a successful video for me because that was horrible. That was freaking horrible. Read Firepower. Fish Flies is a good one, says Undead Quinn. I just picked random. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I wanted to read some comics, so hoist up the mainsail. Let's see, not enough gay crippled black trans.
They are right, though. I only count 6 books I have minorities. It's the lead character coming out this week. It's offensive.
Now, Marania's saying disagree about the comic book stores. Once comic books were made for and marketed to the direct market, that was the beginning of the end for new readers to get exposed to comic books. And unfortunately, she is right about that. During the heyday, there were comic book shops everywhere. You were still having a few on the newsstands, which would usually lead the reader to the comic shop. They worked in tandem, but more and more, it stopped being in the general public to now they're like, hey, we're going to put it in the general public. Let's wrap it up and then put it into a Walmart where it's just going to get torn up and nobody's going to give a shit about the single issue. So
for decades and decades, this industry was for a certain group of people. It was like, people like girls had this, boys had comics. Boys had G.I. Joes, girls had Barbie. Okay, well, they successfully kicked the boys out of comics. Problem is, there's such a the boys that read comics is now such a small percentage of boys in general and commercial men. You know, if you get rid of them, when you're already dealing with micro percentages of populations, you can't be surprised when you don't get the results you want. There's just not enough of those people. I mean, if everybody from those groups that they target were reading comics, it still wouldn't be a runaway success. And that's so I said you can cry about getting more diversity in as far as creators and as far as fans, but they just don't exist in that big of numbers. You kicked the largest population group there was for your hobby out.
The largest and most loyal.
That too.
People our age have been trained since the birth of our hobby to fill in that, no matter whether or not the run is good or bad, to fill in those gaps. You could hate the current run of Avengers, but because you want from the very beginning to the very end, you would make sure that you had even the bad issues of Avengers, or in my case, it was Teen Titans that broke the habit. In all honesty, it was so freaking bad. I'm sorry, but Felicia, whatever her name is, freaking destroyed it for me.
Felicia Hardy.
Yeah. Say again.
Felicia
Not Hardy. Nope. I forget her name, but it was the later part of the Jeff Johns run of Teen Titans, and I was like, I'm out. This is crap. It was way too bad. I legit got many of my comics into gas stations, stores, departments, Walmart, because it was hard to get adults to go to the comic store.
My first non-comic book was it's not a comic, but it's a comic book adjacent, I guess you'd say, is the Batman Activity book. Just off the animated series.
Oh, cool.
That was my first comic book kind of like related thing I ever got as a kid. Remember that?
I used to get Mad Magazine. Shit, I thought I bought a whole bunch of Mad Magazines. I can't find them.
They're at the garage sale next to all your posters.
Yeah, they're in the garage. Yeah. There you go. Let's see. There's a few tomboy chicks who used to shop at my old shop before it closed a few years back who read comics, but they were two, and the rest were men. The comic shop I go to has girls working all over the place.
There's one girl who works there, and I got one trans person that works at one of the shops I go to.
Go figure.
They all wear masks.
It is a thing. My daughter does, but she's got allergies. She's one of the first people, one of the few people I know that when they put on the mask, life became easier for them. So she still wears it. And I was like, why are you wearing it? Because I was thinking, we're in Florida. COVID's not a thing.
Oh, these people wear it in their homes. I guarantee in their cars. I don't.
She's not like that, but whenever we go out, she'll put it on because she's got allergies, and it helps her. I mean, there's sometimes she would be sneezing her head off, puts the mask on, it's okay.
Well, I wonder how much of that is mental, not necessarily for your daughter, but for people in general, because it's been pretty much proven that if it doesn't do what it was supposed to do for COVID, is it really doing the other things that people are wearing them for that claim to not be COVID?
Well, whatever it is that she may be allergic to might actually, like maybe the pollen's bigger or something. I don't know. But I don't care because it works.
I'm asking. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not
judging. I don't think you would be judging my daughter. No. But my daughter will wear the mask in the car as well. But once again, allergies. It's not the COVID thing.
Yes, Rhaegar. Forget the paper bag. We have masks now.
My daughter is on the left politically, but still, she was like, forget that. I'm not getting a vaccine. Are you kidding me?
We got smoke outside from Canada, so the mask is actually useful.
Oh, goody!
Literally, it looks like
awesome.
like it's so bad. It looks like haze out there. Like it's really hot. It is hot. It's like 80 something degrees out there. I'm like, oh, it looks really hazy, but no, it's actually just smoke. Ugh, it's gross.
That sounds like it's a lot of fun.
It is.
So
in a drought so bad right now. The only thing that's growing is the weeds, and then the weeds have to stop after a while because there's no water.
Yeah, I've seen the environmentalists go crazy because it's the hottest summer ever. Hold on, I'll be right back. Just take comments or so. Did you all hear that?
Break more stuff. Yeah, people are freaking out, especially you hear it now. You hear about that? They're like, "Oh, we need to shut down because it's hot outside." And you're like, "It's July. It's always freaking hot."
There's since you guys already talked about stuff that wasn't comic related, I'm going to throw this in.
Sports.
This is going to be used to because states all over the country are issuing heat warnings, what to do when it gets too hot. Disregard the fact that 80 years ago, the entire the Dust Bowl era was hotter than this. But this is going to be an excuse to ramrod all the climate change legislation they want because they're in the scare the sheep portion of the program, and it's working. Now, I mean, it's hot. It's hotter than hell out there right now. But it's not going to cool it down when they tell you can't run your air conditioner on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Yeah, I want to direct something real quickly to Smokey Collects. I'm not upset that they're wearing a mask. I just think it's kind of funny because there's no really reason for that anymore. But I talked to one of the guys at the shop. I asked him why he wears the mask though. He said, "Well, I haven't got sick in a while." And I said to him, "It's like, you know what happens when you don't get sick for a while? It hits you even harder because you haven't built an immunity to it." So I said, "You're living a fine line there, but But I don't talk. It's not like I go up to it every time I go in the shop. You're like, bro, what you got a mask on? I saw it the first time, questioned it for 5 seconds, and then I just went and got my stuff. As long as they don't start yelling at me and saying that I have to wear a mask, I don't care. That's what I don't like is when people get on your case because you're not doing something that they want you to do. So, but
I'm just worried. It's if you're still wearing it, it's probably never coming off, and it's like how I would hate to go through life that afraid of something.
Exactly, but
that's it. Whatever somebody wants to do is fine. Yeah, I said it's neither here nor there, but
yeah, and I'm sure there are some. Yeah, like he says, there are some people who go out there and litigate apeshit because someone else chooses to wear a mask. I guess that I don't care if you wear a mask or do wear a mask. It's when you tell me that I can't enter your store because I'm not wearing a mask.
Yeah, and Smokey, there's 10 times more of people going nuts for those couple of years on anybody that wasn't wearing a mask. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
And I've already wasted enough oxygen talking about this.
Remember, was it last year over in New York? MK could talk about this. Oh, it's so hot. You guys can't use your AC. You can turn the power off. They are causing blackouts because they said they're limiting people how much power they can use.
Well, that's coming.
California was doing this too.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary. Where they can just turn off your gas, turn off your power whenever they want to because they come up with a reason. That's why I said, man, move somewhere where you can actually have a wood stove if you need to, and have your own generators and be prepared because otherwise you're dependent on someone else. But
2 more days.
Yeah, 2 more days. So anything broken?
Coffee cup. That's all.
Was it Gail's favorite cup?
Of course. Yeah. No, I don't know.
I would have told Matt.
I asked the most important question. Does it have Disney on it? She said no. All right.
That's the other cup.
Yeah. That's the one it smashed into. That was all over the place. Yeah.
Well. But yeah, comic industry has been dying for the past 30 years. Look what I did. I told you before. I stopped reading from 2013 or 2014, right after Siege, when they did all different. They did the Frogurt Hulk. We had Unworthy Thor. I kicked that bucket, and I said, no more. I'm not giving you any more money. I was done.
I think you meant Habit.
Frogurt Hulk, yeah. Frogurt.
Yeah, I've heard Gogurt Hulk, but I've never heard Frogurt Hulk.
Yeah, I never heard the Frogurt either.
I kind of like it actually, but yes.
Yeah. Like I said, it's to the point where I just if I can't find the books I want to read, does it bother me? I'll just stop reading the books. It sucks because I'm in your position. I was doing what you're doing. You go to YouTube channel, you're talking about comic books, but you stopped buying the books because you got so far behind, and then you weren't really interested in the books that are coming out.
I really am not
and you don't want to be one of those channels where you just bitches about a book every single freaking week.
In all honesty, that's what helped create it. Maybe I just need to go negative again.
Go tag. No, you want to be famous. Go tag a black man and say he likes Hitler. That'll get you up there with the crowd.
I'll send a message out that Eric July is Nazi. Go figure.
But
well, you just did.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, that could be clipped, can't it? I'll put that as the title. I'll make the thumbnail. Eric July is a Nazi.
But yeah, comic books are better than they were at least about a year ago. At least for me, I branch out to more reading more DC lately. I've been also reading a lot more indie books. So it's been working out well. You're also seeing a lot of my favorite writers and artists are moving out of DC and doing some other things. Jurgens, his Tarzan book was better than any of the other DC books that came out.
That didn't take long.
What?
No, it's just more. It's not how the Reds are going to lose to the Brewers. It's when that was right now.
Did they actually lose? Because
the Brewers pay taxes on the Reds. They own them bad.
It was 2-1 about an hour ago.
Yeah. I was going to say, the problem with the comic book industry last week was a perfect example of what's wrong with it. DC had an infinite number of Night Terror books, but they also had World's Finest, which is arguably the best book they publish, and Hawk Girl, which is arguably the worst comic that has come out since Batgirl 50.
Wow.
The fact
I've got
that
it open right here.
The fact that they both exist in the same supposed universe is a problem. And I know the World's Finest is set in the past, but this Hawk Girl is set in what passes for continuity now. And it's so when you get something like that for people that when the comic book industry used to covet readers and collectors, and hopefully there's a lot of crossover, you would get immersed in their universe. Stuff like this, I refer to it as the proverbial turd in the punch bowl.
Yeah, the other books they had out that week for DC was the Tales of the Titans #1, which completely ignored the whole relationship between Dick and
and that's another one. That's just absolute
trash.
Yeah, so
the art was even worse than the actual writing.
And I will say, the art on Hawk Girl was very good. That guy's got a future.
Yeah, you got to work on some shit books before you get the good stuff. That's what they do for hentai. These guys, manga artists.
I don't know if that's the if they
case here, but I know for manga artists, they start off doing hentai and then they start getting a book and then they get away from that stuff.
There are people at DC that think Hawk Girl is a masterpiece, and that's the problem.
Do you know what blew away at me? Or at least I liked World's Finest, but like I said my #1 book last week. Or actually, I don't think it was my #1 book. I can't remember what it was. I think it was it fluctuates, but for Marvel, Blade,
it was Big
Brian
Time
Hill
was your #1 book.
Yeah, Big Time.
Big Game.
Yeah, Big Game was my #1 book. It beat World's Finest. I love World's Finest. Big Game was awesome, but Blade was awesome too at Marvel. Marvel put on a book by Brian Hill. We got Wesley Snipes' version of Blade back.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah, and he also came out and politely said that the two, the Blade and the Avengers and the Daughter of Blade series sucked, and he was going to ignore both of them.
Yep.
The Undead Quinn saying the Night Terrors have been called the worst of the month. Are we serious? Like none of them have been good? Because I was just going to embark on a let's check this thing out. And
okay, so here's what I can speak personally. The Shazam by Mark Waid was all right. The Jeremy Adams, I didn't care for so much for it. The first half was actually tied into the actual issue beforehand, but then it went into Night Terrors for the rest of it. But I know that what's his name? Zach loved it. Jeremy Adams writing it. I can't say it's a crap book. It is a Jeremy Adams book. It just didn't go the direction I want to. I don't care for the Night Terror stuff.
Yeah, it's not that they're terrible. And from what I understand, as far as like people that are buying comics now, horror covers test better than other styles of covers. So they're probably getting a lot of people that are like they were, variants buying the covers and may not even be looking in between.
That could be happening.
I mean, also,
or it could be telling the industry, start diversifying, put out more horror, except for no, Nice House on the Lake isn't exactly blazing. Or
It
was
did
it?
all right though. For that, I mean, the number of indie books that ascend to the top. It took Keanu Reeves being attached to something.
Yep.
Joe Hill put out one successful batch of comics, and then that second batch didn't do as well.
Again, what are those who tends to like horror comics? You know who doesn't tend to? Pink-haired. I'm not going to go into it, but I said boys.
I know who you're talking about.
And the boys are gone.
Yeah, I skipped anything in Catwoman if it doesn't have Ram V's name on it. Sorry, or Joel Jones.
I do find myself looking more for the name. It's like I would have originally. I would never have checked out who was writing and drawing Sandman. Just the fact that it's Sandman, Golden Age Sandman. I won a Wesley Dodd book, and when I saw it was Venditti, I was over the moon. And then I saw the name below it.
That was us a couple weeks ago. We're talking about in the group. We're all like, then we saw, oh look, who's their artist, Riley Rossbaum. But I'm like, Riley Rossbaum doing a Martian Manhunter is more his thing. Sandman, I want to see what they're going to go.
Sandman needs a noir, somebody who could draw noir. Sandman doesn't need Riley Rossbaum. Whoever did that that was the dumbest.
So what if Riley Rossbaum like just comes out drawing like Dan Mora? Holy crap! What? If you can just, this whole entire time he's been phoning it in. Now he actually puts work into it because he's got a good writer with him.
Yeah.
Becky Cloonan writing Nightwing for the Night Terror thing. Trying to see. Let's go to Marvel. Extreme Venomverse. Look, it's Jeff the Shark. A Venom version. I'm like, there's Venom Godzilla.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, that was Kelly Thompson created Jeff the Shark. Yeah.
It's Marvel, man. It's Marvel. I want another Justice League Dark book, says MK. And yet you all love that cover for saying that is true. That is true. I did like that cover, but what I'm used to being Riley Rossbaum art isn't that cover.
Yeah.
You have no idea how long he worked on that or how he forced himself out of all the tropes that he normally uses. I haven't seen an up-close version of it, and I was looking without my glasses, but
the cover you just showed earlier, we didn't believe that was Riley Rossbaum. We thought that was cover B.
Because of how bad Riley Rossbaum usually is.
Because I don't think that's it. Because a lot of times you hear the previews, they don't show you the cover that's actually the A cover. They show you like a variant cover sometimes.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Because they know if you show Riley Rossbaum on there, what's going to buy it?
I can't think of any artist worse than Riley Rossbaum right now.
Oh.
What's the guy who does that Copra book? He's pretty bad. He did the art for the Female Frenzies book that CC what's-her-name did.
What about Erica Hendez?
Say again?
Erica Hendez? Or Hendricks, whatever it is?
No, it wasn't her. It was
Henderson, whatever it is.
Yeah, it was somebody different. JLA versus Godzilla versus Kong sounds interesting, says Glinzer. I'm looking forward to it. Why not? Let's give it a stay in court.
So, did you know there's 2 Ghost Rider books coming out this week? Cosmic Ghost Rider and then Ghost Rider 16.
Well, hopefully they're good. That would be fun. I'm looking forward to everything being wonderful and great.
Right.
I'm not expecting it, but I'm looking forward to it. Why not? There are tons of artists worse than Rosmo. We just don't know their names. The guy drawing Blood Tree is awful. Yeah, I'm pretty sure somebody out there can give him a run for his money. But holy crap, he is bad. He is very, very, very freaking bad. Anyway, gang, we are at the almost at the 1.5 point. Is there anything in particular you guys wanted to bring up? I know MK was bringing up Homelander and everybody in the Mortal Kombat series. I don't really play that too much, the Mortal Kombats.
But yeah, Homelander's in there, and so is Omni Man.
Yep, I saw that. And Peacemaker. Okay, I might play this one. Why not? I wish they would keep doing the Injustice games. So yeah, put the comic book characters into a fighting game. I'm there. I'm for it. Why not? Let's do it.
I'm trying to think who the artist was that was working on Gargoyles recently. Because he was working because he works better on Gargoyles with the current one that's out.
Yeah.
But he drew that John Carter Warlord of Mars series before that was horrible art looking.
Yeah,
sometimes it works. Like I said, you put Ryan Oswald on a Martian Manhunter book, it will be worth it.
It is something when they have an artist that just doesn't fit.
But then again, I'm spoiled. I like Jerry Ordway. I love all the post-crisis artists. He had a whole bunch of great artists. So
what did we learn from tonight's discussions? We learned that modern day comics have their problems. We learned that Tony Isabella is a bigot. We learned that Eric July's a Nazi from the bigot Tony Isabella. Good stuff.
We know that Dan Stott's eating all the food because Tony Isabella seems to be eating a lot of food himself.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, yeah, I guess we learned that Marvel's not, or the big two are not diverse enough. There's not enough minorities with their own books coming out.
Of course, nor writing and drawing,
or even diverse writers. I want more cripples writing.
There you go.
Is that the correct word?
And that's enough.
Just the one. Glenzer is where is it? Will Comic-Con continue to keep Hollywood away, or was this it's a one and done?
Wait, isn't T the plural form? You just say T, there could be more than one.
What do you think? Do you guys think that if they can get the big celebrities next year, they'll get them, or
oh god, they'll go out and fly them in on their dime?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm thinking.
It really depends on what is for the Comic-Con. If they make a lot of money this year without the movie stuff.
Here's the thing, though: the people that are making the money this year aren't the people putting the show on, because they're not getting the people that spend the big bucks to get a glimpse of their favorite celebrity. And the people, like I said, the comic book people, the ones that aren't wasting their time, searching for Nazis, all said this is the best show they've had in years. You know who couldn't give two shits about that? The organizers of San Diego Comic-Con, because they look at the comic book dealers as almost, I'm not going to say necessary anymore. I think if they could find a way to do this show without them, that's what they would prefer.
I think you're right. Anyway, guys, let's see. It is Tuesday tomorrow, so you have your show.
8 p.m. Central. There should be I think there's a show tonight on Ash's Comics.
And Maranya is going to take a week off, and then to get everything straight, and on Wednesday, new books. Yay. More Night Terrors. That's what we're looking for, right? It sounds good to me.
Remember when you used to have to go to sleep to have Night Terrors?
I know, right? Now we just have to pick up DC Comics, modern day DC Comics. That being said, I am almost done with the Avengers Kree Skrull War from the 1970s. Haven't read it in decades, and I really want to talk about that.
There's a new Superman book from Mark Waid coming out this week too. Superman: The Last Days of Lex Luthor.
Oh, and what was it? Superman hentai was out. I mean, anime was out last week.
There was a manga or something like that where it's him eating ramen noodles or something like that.
Something him versus ramen noodles or something like that. It's really weird. Bring it on! That sounds good. That sounds new. All right, guys. Once again, thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget to join us tomorrow for, or at least Venkman for his thing where we're talking about the books that are coming out on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, they review the books that came out on Wednesday.
On Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. Central.
And Eric joins the 4-Color Fossils on
Wednesday
Wednesday
nights,
to show off some old books.
8 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, and I get to drive 8 hours in the car to drop my nieces off, and that's going to be lovely.
Tuck and roll, girls. Tuck and roll.
Basically, yeah. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. If you don't mind helping out the channel, there's a Ko-Fi link in the description below. I'd like to thank everybody who's already done that. Everyone, all the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good night.
Good night, kids.